Hey, welcome to my channel. So let me guess, you saw the title of this video and you're thinking of buying a drone to take videos or photos for a hobby, maybe while you go on vacation or even for work. Well then, you've come to the right place because I'm going to explain everything. So stay tuned. Now I can't cover every drone, but here's the drones we're going to be taking a look at today. So we have the Mavic Pro, the Spark, the Phantom 4 Pro, and the Phantom 4 Advanced, and the Typhoon H. These are all the most popular drones on the market today as of July year 2017. Okay, so you've seen the drones we're going to take a look at today, and there's a reason these drones are super popular. Well, it's because of their selling features. And let me just go over the selling features for each drone. Here we go. Now the Typhoon H has a 360 camera. What that means is that camera can spin around 360 degrees continuously. It also has a landing gear that's retractable. One of the great things about the Typhoon H is everything you need is included in the box. When you buy the box, you get everything. You can just plug stuff in, charge it, and go fly. Next, we have the Phantom 4 Pro and the Phantom 4 Advanced. There is a price difference between the two. The Phantom 4 Pro is more expensive than the Advanced, only for the most part because it has more obstacle avoidance sensors. The great thing about both of them is they both share the same 20 megapixel camera. This is a beast of a camera on a drone. Next, we have the Mavic Pro. The selling feature on this is because it's foldable. It folds into a small compact package. When it unfolds, it turns into a drone that's almost as powerful as its big brother. And finally, we have the Spark. The Spark is the newest drone on the market. Its selling feature is once again that it is super small and portable, and it's the drone for social media. So as we know, social media is big today, Facebook, Twitter. This drone is perfect for that. All right, so this next topic is on the video and picture taking capabilities of each of the drones. Well, all of the drones can take pictures at high resolution, and they can all take video at high resolution. They can go as low as HD, which is about as good as your television set, which is 1080p, all the way up to 4K resolution, which is pretty amazing. Well, that may not be true. Not all of them. You see, the Spark can't really do that. The Spark is limited at 1080p, which is great if you're going to play it back on your TV or you're going to make a YouTube video. 1080p is crystal clear, awesome video. Now, all the other ones record at 4K, which a lot of people don't even have a computer that can handle 4K to edit the video, and a lot of people don't even have a TV or a monitor to view 4K on. So these drones are way ahead in technology and video and picture capabilities that you may never use. So with that said, if you know nothing about the word I just said, 4K, or the word 1080p means nothing to you, then don't worry about the video and the picture quality of any of the drones that you've seen here, because let me just say, they're all amazing. You're gonna have exceptional picture quality. And let me just show you. So as I'm talking right now, you can see video taken from the Typhoon H and the Mavic and the Phantoms and whatnot. Why do these drones look so smooth? They really don't fly smooth in the air. They got wind buffeting them. It's because they have a gimbal, which means the gimbal will always point in one direction no matter the movement of the drones. Even the tiny little Spark has only a 2-axis gimbal. All the other drones have a 3-axis gimbal. If that means nothing to you, don't worry about it. But the Spark has a 2-axis gimbal, but it uses some fancy footwork with the way it processes pictures and video to keep them massively stable. So once again, as a beginner coming into drones, all you have to know is all of these drones have the capability to take exceptional video and exceptional photos. What is the best drone to buy that has the best camera? So, the best camera for taking the best quality pictures and the best quality video is going to be either the Phantom 4 Pro or the Phantom 4 Advanced. And when I say best, I'm talking best. It's like you could use this for commercial use. Now, if you're just an amateur who walks around with a cell phone snapping pictures of people and that's all you've ever used, and you don't have a DSLR camera, and you don't do a bunch of video editing, and you don't do a bunch of picture manipulation on a computer, don't even bother spending your money on these drones, because you're just buying capabilities that you'll never use other than to have bragging rights. You could buy one of the other drones because they all have exceptional cameras and they all take pictures that are way better than a cell phone. So it's up to you. You decide. The best drone for travel or vacation or adventure, hiking, whatnot, would be either the Mavic Pro or the DJI Spark. Why? Simply because they are small, portable. The Mavic folds up into a tiny little thing here. I'll fold it up to show you quickly. I will fold up that Mavic. And one other important thing, by making these drones small, there's the Mavic, very tiny now. Small drones, when you're out traveling, that is the side backpack for the Spark, and here's the one for the Mavic. They're both made by DJI. Very small. You sling them over your shoulder and you have your hands free to do other stuff, hold big cameras, do other things, put out a backpack, whatnot. This is why they're so great. Other reason they're so great is because you can take them on a plane. You can, for most countries, bring them as your normal carry-on luggage. They're very tiny. You throw them on, as long as you throw the batteries in a LiPo bag like this. There's a little LiPo bag, very common. You can get these any place. Toss all the batteries inside. That way, if they ever catch on fire or explode, well, it all stays contained within this bag. Airlines love this. Just check what the country you're going to, because some countries, for some reason, don't allow drones in their country. They're just a little freaked out by them, so you might want to check that ahead of time. But all that to say, these are the two best for travel, vacations, doing adventure, hikes, all that great stuff. Ah yes, the wind. Well, the best drone for filming in the wind on super windy days, super gusty windy days would be the Typhoon H. It has 6 props. It can just chop through the wind, no problem. Other drones with 4 props have a little bit more difficulty, and a little drone like the DJI Spark right here, well, that is got a lot of difficulty in the wind. Now, the problem with the wind, a lot of people for some reason confuse why wind is a problem. Even experienced pilots using drones, they all think that if it's windy out and you fly a little Spark like this in the wind, oh, it's gonna flip over and crash to the ground. Well, that's not true. These drones will never flip over unless it was a hurricane or a tornado. They will all stay straight up. The problem with the Spark, these little drones, is if you fly with the wind, they go really fast. But if you turn around and you want to come back against the wind, well, if the wind is blowing faster than they have the ability to fly, their ground speed, they're going to go nowhere and stay right stuck in the air or move very slowly and use up all their battery power and then come down to the ground, and hopefully you can find it. Whereas the Typhoon H, sure, it's going to use more power fighting the wind going into it, but it still will be able to move in the wind at a half decent speed, no problem. So, best drone for flying in the wind, Typhoon H. One of the fantastic features of the Typhoon H is it has 6 motors, and with 6 motors comes 6 props. So this drone can fly actually on 5, with only 5 functioning motors or 5 props. All the other drones, if you try to fly them with 1 prop missing or 1 motor not working, they will crash to the ground. The Typhoon H will continue on flying. So that's something to keep on mind if you're going to be flying near objects a lot, and you know you might actually smash into something. Ah yes, the drone that everybody would love to have, the most rugged, that you can smash it, crash it, do all sorts of things and it's going to keep on working. Well, that's pretty much the Spark. There's not much to it. It's very tiny. Everything's pretty solid. You can fly this straight into a tree. I wouldn't fly it straight into a wall, but you can fly it into a lot of objects and it will keep on flying. So, obstacle avoidance. Well, I'm going to keep this pretty basic and just say that all of these drones here on this table have the ability to avoid an obstacle. So if you're new flying drones and you're going forward into a fence or something, it's probably going to work and save your drone from crashing. All right, we're gonna get into the topic of flight distance. Now everybody knows a drone will fly really far. I'm just gonna talk about distance from straight ahead. You're flying, you wanna fly from one side of the river to the other. You're at your cottage, you wanna fly out, film some boats, whatnot, whatever. So I'm going to use the flight distance that is shown on the manufacturer's website for these drones. And I'll start off with the drone that flies the least far to the drone that flies the most far. Now everybody knows that an advertised distance is just that, it's an advertised distance. It doesn't mean that's how far it's going to fly. In most cases, whatever is listed on a website, the real world is actually half that distance. Yuneec says this drone will fly 1 mile in distance. That's 1.6 kilometers. So if you chop that in half, you know, you got half a mile, which is still pretty far. The next one up is this little guy, the Spark. DJI says, oh my God, this here will fly 2,000 meters, which is 1.2 miles. That's not even close. I've flown this thing and even getting half that distance is quite difficult. The next two fly the exact same distance. You got the Mavic and you got the Phantom 4 Pro and the Phantom 4 Advanced. They fly the same distance according to DJI. So what's the distance DJI lists them at? Well, they say if you're flying these things, you can fly them 7 kilometers away. That's incredible. Is that possible? Well, you're gonna need some optimum conditions for that. Now, just like distance, the manufacturers of these drones will also advertise flight times. How long will these stay in the air? It's like your gas mileage for your car. You know, what's advertised for your car and what you really get with your car are two different things. The flight times on these drones are the same thing. What's advertised and what you get are two different things. Because in the real world, there's wind. Maybe when it was tested, there was no wind. When a drone has to stay stable or fly against wind, it uses a lot of power. So for the Typhoon H, they're saying this thing here can fly for 25 minutes. Well, that is total BS. It does not fly for 25 minutes. I get 14 to 18 minutes of flight time with the Typhoon H. Let's go to the Phantom 4 Pro and the Phantom 4 Advanced. And what's DJI say? These can fly for not 25 minutes, but 30 minutes. Real world flight times are, for me anyways, 22 minutes. Best I ever got was 26 minutes. Next one is the Mavic Pro. DJI again says 27 minutes of flight time with this baby. Well, for me, I only get about 21 minutes, sometimes 25 minutes. And the new Spark, they advertise it at 16 minutes of flight time. It depends. If there's wind or you fly up a lot, you really reduce your time. You'll get about maybe 10 or 11 minutes. Highest I got is maybe 14 minutes. What that means, after all that is said, is that you're gonna need more than one battery. All right, so this next part is more for beginners to drones. When you fly a drone and that has a camera on it, well, the drone is up in the air and it's flying quite a distance. You have to see where the drone is going and you have to see what the drone is seeing so that you can frame the shot that you're taking a picture or video. So that means you need some sort of display and a controller to control the drone to go up, down, left, right, move the camera up, down. So let me start with the Typhoon H. The Typhoon H has this massive controller here, but it's massive for a reason. I'm just gonna turn it on. There's a bunch of fans in it. There's an Intel processor in it. And what is pretty amazing, I'm gonna get this so that my little GoPro can pick it up as well, is right here is a 7-inch touchscreen display. Now this is an Android device. It's like having an Android tablet and you can use it as one. If you want to play games on it and do other stuff and sit around the fireplace playing games on this device, well, have at her. It's pretty decent. And as I mentioned, this controller by itself is a 16-channel controller. That's a lot of channels in a controller. And this controller as well is one of the few controllers that has GPS built in. So there's GPS chip built in here so that wherever your drone is flying, your drone will communicate with this controller and always know where the controller is. So wherever the controller is, the drone knows it and it will always come back to the location of this controller. Now, you can see the display on it. Here's my little 7-inch display. It's not connected to a drone at the moment, so I just get a little picture on it. But it's really great. Now, it's kind of large to take with you. Say I wanted to go biking or surfing and I wanted the drone to follow me. Well, Yuneec has this little thing. This is called a Wizard. And there's no display. You can't see what the drone sees or anything. All you have to do is cross your fingers and hope everything's working. You fly the drone with this little thing, a Wizard, and you go biking or surfing or hiking in the woods, whatever, and the drone will fly above you. You have little switches here. It looks like a TV remote control. I'll show the little the GoPro. So you can fly the drone up, left, right, whatnot. It's a pretty neat feature. And if you go on YouTube and look for videos, you'll see a lot of people using this little Typhoon wizard. Here's a close-up of it for the GoPro Typhoon wizard. Now let's move over. Say you bought a Phantom 4 Pro or a Phantom 4 Advanced. Well, you're gonna need your tablet or your phone. And if your tablet doesn't have a GPS in it, then some of the features won't work. If your phone doesn't have a GPS, well then throw your phone away, because every phone has a GPS in it, so you should have no problem. Anyways, a phone is really good because a phone also has cell data. So even if it has problems with GPS, it uses the cell towers to get signals, and it can send data. And you can do crazy stuff like, hey guys, I'm live streaming on YouTube. You can live stream what you see to the world so everybody can watch what you're seeing at the same time. So that's what DJI does. Say you don't want to go that route and you say, that's too complicated. I just want to buy a Phantom 4 Pro or a Phantom 4 Advanced. I don't want to have to use my phone or tablet or anything. Well, then you need this device here. This here is the controller. I'm just going to turn it on. This is the controller for the Phantom 4 Pro and the Phantom 4 Advanced. It's self-contained. It comes with a tiny little display on it that's, you can see it in bright sunlight and whatnot. There's a GPS built in, there's Wi-Fi built into this thing, a bunch of other features. There's no cell data, so you can't use this with cell towers. You would have to connect your phone if you needed to do something with cell data. If you didn't want to go that route and you said, nah, I want to save some money and I'll just use my phone or my tablet, well then you can buy the version without, and it looks something like that. It's exactly the same thing, but there's no display on it. So now let's take a look at the Mavic Pro. I'll put that down there. So the Mavic, here it is right here, little controller. So the Mavic comes all a little squished up in a little controller. You just undo everything. It looks tiny, it looks like a toy, but really it's a powerful device. There we go. So up here is a display that will give you all sorts of readouts about your Mavic. Now, one important thing to note about the Mavic Pro is that you don't need a controller. You can actually fly it with just your cell phone. You can be out someplace and all you have is this and the Mavic and you can fly. But you're lacking a lot of features. So my advice is always use a controller. So when you use the controller, there's no screen. I can't see anything. What is my Mavic taking a picture of, and what is it filming and everything, and how do I move the camera? Well, that's because you have to put your phone. Fits in this little device here. If I widen that so you can see it. There you go. So if I stick my phone in there, there we are. Anyways, it's kind of roughly in place. So there's the phone, and down here where I'm seeing an image, that would be the image you'd see from your Mavic. So and you can control it with the joysticks, and you can stop video, aim the camera where you want, and you see all sorts of information on this display, and you see all sorts of information on that display. So now let's take a look at the Spark. So now the Spark is the same idea. It looks just like the Mavic. Well, it's a little thing, fold out the little antennas. I'm gonna power it on. You'll see it's not like the Mavic because there's no display here. I have nothing. So I open it up, I could stick my phone in there and I could fly the Spark with my phone being the display, and all the information and the readouts would be on my phone. And I could see what I'm doing from there. Well, that's really good. And another great thing about the Spark is that, say, once again, your phone dies or anything, you can fly it with this, but you have no readout, so you'll be guessing where things are. Just like the Mavic, you can fly your Spark with your phone, but you're limited to range and a bunch of other features. And just like most DJI products, other than, here we go, pull this over. This is the only DJI product that has a GPS built in. These products here, no GPS built in, so they rely on your phone or tablet to have the GPS. And the same as if you buy the unit with no monitor, there's no GPS built in. It relies on your phone or your tablet to have a GPS to make it work. So that's controllers. So once again, they're all great. So it depends on what you want for what you need to do. So honestly, how much do these drones actually cost? Are they cheap or are they expensive? Well, that depends on how much you want to pay. As of today, this is the month of July, the year 2017. I'll give you the prices. So for the Typhoon 8 with a rebate, you're looking at $999 US to $1,499 US. If there's no rebate, you're looking at $1,299 US all the way up to $1,899 US. Now with the Phantom 4 Advanced and the Phantom 4 Pro, your price range will go anywhere from $1,199 US all the way up to $1,799 US. The Mavic Pro will run you somewhere between $999 US all the way up to $1,299 US. And the Spark, since it's brand new and on the market, it will run you between $499 US all the way up to $699 US. Something to keep in mind for the drone that you decide to buy, that's going to be costs of batteries and props. Those are things you're going to need a little bit more often. Probably not props so much unless you crash a lot, but definitely batteries. You'll want to have at least 3 batteries for whatever drone you own. So I'm going to give you the prices right now off the website for each of these drones. The going rate for these batteries or props. Of course, prices will change in the future, but as of today, here's the prices. So we'll start off with the Typhoon H. Typhoon H, here you go, big props on it. You need 6 of them. So props for the Typhoon H for a package of 3 props is $20. So it's going to cost you $40 US for 6 extra props. Of course, you can buy them cheaper someplace else. The Typhoon H battery rate here is $140. Let's go over to the Phantom. 2 props for this thing is going to cost you $9. If you want 4, of course, then you're paying $18. And for this huge battery, it's $170 because it's a smart battery. Next, we move over to the Mavic Pro. Mavic Pro, same thing. DJI has all their props for just 2 props at being $9. So again, $18 if you want your 4 props. And your batteries for the Mavic Pro will cost you $90. These prices are all in US, by the way. And finally, where are you? Spark. Spark's got tiny little props. Look at this. You go from these big props down to these little props. Guess how much these props are for this Spark? That's right, $9 a pair. So it's 18 bucks for all 4 props. And the battery for this tiny little battery is $50. And once again, those prices are all US as of this month, July, the year 2017. So now we come to the part of the video where I'm just going to give you my opinion on each of these drones, and my opinion based on what type of person would actually buy these drones for an intended purpose. I probably mentioned it throughout the video. You probably got a good hint of where I'm going with this, but here we go. So if you haven't made up your mind which type of drone is right for you, this may help. So the Typhoon H. The Typhoon H is perfect for anybody wanting to get into the drone hobby. It's also perfect if someone's going to use it for inspecting objects or whatnot, because as I mentioned, you can fly close, break a prop, and she's still flying. It's doing well. Myself, personally, I love flying the Typhoon H in areas where it's the open, wide open fields, because this thing here, when you fly it up in the air, the legs go up, and you can rotate the camera while it's just hovering, and you can film all around you, which is really nice. You get these beautiful sweeping vistas. Also great at sporting events. If you're following, if you could hover in one spot, say there's a football game going on or something, or some other motocross racing going on, and you can actually just keep it hovering and turn the camera to follow the action. It's pretty decent. So Typhoon H, great drone for those functions. Move that aside. Let's go over here to the next popular, or I should say the next one that I have in order. Don't say they're all popular. So this is the Phantom 4 Pro with all the sensors, and you can also buy the Phantom 4 Advanced, which has less sensors. So this drone is more for the professional. If you're going to get into the business of making money flying a drone, or you're a hobby photographer who knows a lot about photography, then this is a drone for you, because this drone is all about the camera. The camera is exceptional. It takes the best pictures, the best video, but you need a powerful computer to edit all of those pictures and video to do the post-processing. So if that's what you can do, then this drone is for you. All right, let's move on to the next one. The Mavic. This thing here is super portable. This here, I call this this is like the GoPro of the drones. Why do I say that? Because the GoPro is always associated with people that are adventurous. You go out, you go surfing, you go hiking, mountain biking, all this stuff, and you get these really cool perspectives. Well, this drone, when it's all folded up, is pretty small, and it has all the features of these big drones. It can fly in the wind, it can take pictures, it can fly extremely fast, it's got a good, decent follow me speed on it, everything. So this drone here, I call it the drone for adventure. So if you like climbing mountains, you like hiking, you like to travel to exotic locations, with lots of water around that you have to fly out a fair distance to go and take pictures or fly high and see objects from a height. This is the drone for you. Packs up small, great for taking on a plane. Finally, we have the Spark. Who would use the Spark? Well, if you're somebody who all you ever do is take your phone and take a lot of selfie shots, or take a lot of group photos of your friends, or you travel a lot and take a lot of pictures, you don't really care about big cameras, bulky things, you want to throw this in a small bag, well, this is the drone for you. You'll be pretty impressed with the photos this takes and the video takes for the size. So this is your social media type drone, I find. I think this is probably going to be the most popular drone on the market for most people because it comes in at a great price point and it's super useful in almost all situations. It doesn't have a long battery life, so you need at least 3 batteries minimum. All right, so you've reached the end of the video. Sorry it was so long, but there was so much to cover. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have more knowledge now than when this video began, and you have a better idea about what drone you want to buy. And if you don't, well then, put a question below and I will answer it as best I can. And for anybody else who's watched this video who's actually owned a drone for a long time, I would appreciate it if you put some points or in the bottom in the discussion area below and put the points directed at new drone users. In other words, give them points on what should they think of when they're buying a drone, and maybe something that you know now that you didn't know then when you bought your drone, so you can basically they can avoid having any issues that you have now learned from. Because I have definitely not covered everything. I've tried to cover most things. Anyways, that's the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. And if you want to see more videos about drones, watch my ones from the past, and there's more coming in the future. And if you want to get a notification when the future ones are coming, hit that subscribe button. Till next time, fly safe.